All right, hey everybody. So I'm finally done with the gym. If you've been watching any of my socials, you've probably known that for a little while, but I finally had a chance to get in a video tour. And I've got to say, with the smaller space, I'm quite thrilled with it. A lot of changes, but a lot of good changes, I would say, at the same time. So I'll walk you through kind of how I set it all up, some of the things that I kept, a lot of the things that I did not, but ultimately it certainly gets the job done. I'm quite happy with it. So this is the third stall garage that I have, and with that I have a lot less space. Ultimately I went from, I don't know, maybe about a 20 by 30 space to now I'm at about 13, probably about 13 and a half by 19 or so, a little under 19 feet. So just a one stall garage. But once I kind of laid out the floor plan, it really came together. So I kept uh, a couple core pieces that I definitely did not want to get rid of. For example, the dual combo leg extension and leg curl, and the power rack, my accessory rack that I like to call it. And then I set up with the cornerstone my rep Aries. So that was obviously the most important piece on keeping that in line. And then after that, I kind of worked out. So the way I did this was I built the foundation around from the center point here. So walk around to the other side so that you can see it. But I built around this was the foundation here. So from there, then I worked to the left and to the right on an equidistant setup. And then for the sake of the barbell storage, I couldn't go horizontally like I was able to in the basement. And I had enough space there on the walls that a vertical rack ended up being pretty much perfect. So I was certainly pleased with that. I got all my bars up there. One thing I did swap out though, obviously, this is also you could call it the Bare Steel Equipment headquarters for all intents and purposes. But I still have the power blocks. I used to have the power blocks I was training with on a daily basis, but with the added space, and I wanted to test out the dumbbells as well. I'll give you a closer look on these, but the dumbbells have been great. Found a great supplier, and got to say, having dumbbells for the first time. I mean, it's been a very long time since I've had dumbbells or used them even in a commercial setting. But it's been fantastic to use again. So there's pros and cons to each. Obviously, you can see here I got a lot of space invested in this. But the nice thing is it's more vertical, I feel like, than anything else for obvious reasons. This was the Rep modular system, storage system, and so I went with a what was it? It was 6 feet. This was 6 by 6, so 6 feet long by 6 feet high. Now, if anybody's tracking this here, so one thing to keep in mind, like I ended up using this whole thing for all of my dumbbell storage, and you can see one of the issues with the dumbbells, as you get into the bigger ones, you can see they're not exactly flush with the back plating here. So they're sitting up on top. And this goes up to the 115s. So the 120s, so for those of you keeping score at home, anything over 120s most likely are not going to fit on the racks. So what I ended up having to do was I unbolted the bottom frame here, and I just set them on the floor. And so I kind of have a little bit of an angled slant, which is nice, and it still works. You can kind of see how that's set up. So that works really well, but if you're going to go with the heavier dumbbells, you might have a harder time with that. So just keep that in mind. So I did end up using another rack, and this rack here keeps the 5s to 50s. So now the other side goes to 135, but I didn't have space for the 140s through 150s. So I put the 140s underneath, 145s underneath, but I didn't have enough space underneath there. So I'm just keeping the 150s right there. But all in all, I don't really have any complaints on that. It works just fine. So one other thing I did in terms of the flooring, I did put some shims down, but try to keep it as level as possible. And that worked. It's not a completely level, but it certainly does the job. To help protect the flooring, I did put a wood base down. So I put all wood down through, and I'll link this in the video as well. But I did it in sections, so I put a whole wood base down first, and then I went to the stall mats from Classic Tractor Supply, and then I went through the Gorilla Tape, and it's held up great. No problems with it. Haven't had any issues, so that's been great. Don't know if I've showcased this really a whole lot yet, but one of my favorite things is from my buddy Mark over at Plate Snacks. He did on the Rep Aries stack. He did the Bare Steel Equipment decals for me, which was great. So I've got my stack selector pins there. So when you look at the stack, one thing that I think is really great is the side angle, and you get that side angle view, which I think is just really super cool. So from there, I've got all of my attachments here. So I've got the stacked weight pin. I've got the short stack. I like to use the short stack on the inside. So one thing that is really cool for those of you that are interested in doing any type of, maybe chain work. I'm a big fan of the chain work. What's really easy to do is these short stacks will go right inside of each other like that, and then you can add your chains. And this way, it prevents anything from hitting the cables. So you'll see, like down here, if you do chains on the outside, you might end up getting something caught up with the chains on the cable. So just a trick there I like to do every once in a while when maybe my program calls for chains. So one other thing that I have added on the Bare Steel Equipment side, this is, it looks bare steel, but it's actually hard chrome. And those of you that are concerned maybe you don't want rust, this is what hard chrome looks like. And we will also do not just the pin itself, but we'll do the rod too. So you get a double whammy bonus there, as opposed to the Cerakote. The Cerakote is just that. So all you get for the Cerakote is just a pin, no rod. So the rod is separate on that if you wanted that to be nitride. So in the event that you're looking, there's the header. The header was done for my buddy Nate over at Executive Fit. So if anyone's interested in that, please go check him out. He does awesome work. I've done some work on and off with Nate for a while now. Can't say enough good things about him. So please go check him out. couple other things that I have here. Power pins on the side. These have been awesome. So these are for your attachments, and you can utilize these for a lot of different purposes. This is also done in hard chrome. I have a couple other bare steel ones, but the hard chrome is really cool. It's really tough. It's made locally. So we have a supplier in Akron that does it. Cable handles, the cable handles that we have as well. These are the newer ones. So there are a little bit more aggressive knurling to it. If I can get it to focus. There we go. So a much better and I think cleaner knurling. One of the things that a lot of people had said was, you know, can you make this a little bit more aggressive? So you get your PVC logo on the side here. It really comes out clean. A lot of people seem to like it, so I appreciate all that support. Going over to the side here, within the gym, some of the various bars. Here is the rackable skull crusher curl bar right there. This is the iron skull, and this is the deadlift bar I've got coming out soon. Those are being shipped out currently, so those will be here soon. But all the different bars, the red, this is the blue collar barbell. This has been a great bar as well. And you can see one of my favorites is this rackable skull crusher bar. I've had a couple people ask, does this work on a rep rack? And I will show you right now that it does indeed fit on a rep rack. Right there you go, with room to spare. So in the event that you're wondering, you know, does it fit? Yes, yes it does. So I'll have some more details on this one later. Give you a quick shot on that end cap. You can kind of see how that looks. Got the skull and crossbones. One of my more favorite logos of the variety. One of the things that I like about this modular system here, to go back to it, is you can get some hooks. And with those hooks, I store a lot of the things here. So another one of the items that we have, this is the new stainless steel hammer handle with bright nickel. So we do the bright nickel eye bolts, same place where we do the hard chrome. But these new stainless steel hammer handles are absolutely sweet. So one of the things that I also use within the chains, I've got our chain straps. Those go on. There's also a few things here in the back. So this connects, this is the iron bridge. And the iron bridge, what that does is that I actually use that in tandem with the Aries. So the way that this goes is you can set this up, there we are. These holes are designed specifically for the Aries. So the second hole here will actually work on this. So I'll show you how that looks. All right. So second hole from the center, and it's a perfect fit. Again, I had that measured. So we built the iron bridge specifically for this machine. The outer holes are for the bottom here. So when you go to attach for the low row, the outer holes will fit exactly for the iron bridge on the outside. Now this swivel, I've had a handful of people asking about this swivel. All this is just, you can find these on Amazon. They're fairly cheap. That's one that I liked, and it gives you that 360 ability. So, but that's the iron bridge, that's how that works. And then you can attach your lat pull down attachment. Same thing with the low row, however you want to set it up. So one item over here I forgot in terms of barbells, my trusty Mars bar. So I've been friends with Zach for a few years now, love that guy. If you don't have a Mars bar, I highly suggest you getting one in the event that you get older and have trouble squatting, or you just want to find safer ways to squat. I would strongly encourage you to check one out or find a gym that has one, use it, and then if you end up liking it, again, I would encourage you to buy it because it will keep you squatting. I know it's done that for me. So once we moved on from the rack here, going back to kind of the layout, the most important thing for me was, at least, I wanted to make sure that I could do all of my exercises and not lose anything. So legs was an important piece, but also I wanted to keep probably my cornerstones, I guess you could call it. So having the dumbbells has been a clutch item, simply because of the I guess the more natural rounded shape of them. The power blocks have been good, but at times certain exercises it was a little bit more difficult because of the more blocky style nature. We do handles for them too. So I mean, we still set up handles for power blocks in the event that you want to get a different style of handle. We've got those in stainless steel as well. But setting up the dumbbells has been a game changer. From there, what I call the accessory rack here. So the accessory rack has been another item that has been very important to me, and get a couple of questions every once in a while, like, why do you have two racks? One of the most important reasons is because of the lever arms. So, and I'll have another video once I get rolling here. I'm going to do another video on some updated lever arms. I know I have one video out there right now it's an older one. It's a couple years old. I think it was during COVID, with Titan lever arms and setting up. So I'm going to do kind of an updated version on that, show you how I set up my lever arm stuff. So 3 or 4 basic movements between chest press, like an incline press, shoulder press, and a belt squat setup. So I love the lever arms, and one of the reasons I got this rack was so that I could do lever arm stuff over here without having to worry about trying to get it involved in here. Because one of the things that you'll find out, and I discovered this, was if you want lever arms, right, you're going to find out that these lever arms get in the way of the trolley system. And so it's not functional in the sense that anytime you want to move this, you're going to have problems with that, and vice versa. So what I wanted was more of a true functional setup. So I could do things on the trolley, on the functional trainer side, without having to worry about this getting in the way. Because if I wanted to do something simple like a lateral raise, right? Because I'm a tall guy, so I'm 6'4". So I need that trolley to come all the way down. And even if that's up by a few notches, I don't get the same effect as having the trolley all the way down. Another thing that I did too is I actually removed the brackets off of these ISO arms. I don't know if I would recommend that. I guess that's up to each individual person. But for me, it's been just fine in terms of function. So I would say, I've got one power pin that holds this whole thing up, and there's 0 problems with it. The other power pin here, that just keeps the arm from locking. So I keep that in place when it's not in use. But then this actually holds the entire arm together. So you can see that. You can see that right here. So, and again, this is another one too that's been hard chromed, and you can kind of see the difference, right? This one's got a little bit of rust to it, but still very effective. This is hard chrome, and it's in perfect condition. So this is also where I hold all of my chains. So we sell chains as well. These are the chains. These are done in zinc. These ones here that look stainless are not stainless. These are also, I did a small batch that was bright zinc, same as the eye bolt for the hammer handle. So, but Overall, this has been a great setup for belt squats in terms of like holding on to something here. If I can get it there. I use the dip station. I don't really use it other than that, but it's still effective when I use it. I have the Sorinex Bulldog pad. I mean, I absolutely love that. That's been great. And I utilize, again, the power pins for that too. So one other thing, in terms of belt squats, so here's the latest belt squat that I've released. This is held together, so this is a universal attachment. And I'll have another true post on this that kind of showcases how it works. But like I've showcased that on my socials as well. Now, one thing that kind of got in the way in terms of setting up the entire accessory rack was in the basement. I had foot extenders, and with that, like, you know, when I'm deadlifting here, like I said, like I don't have a whole lot of space here. So, but for an entire deadlift, you're talking from there to about there with space. So pretty much the whole width of this area is taken up. So if I had feet here, that's going to get in the way of the barbell. So I decided something else, and I was lucky enough to have this where it was. So I've got, through the walls here, I found the studs, and I'll showcase this over here. So what I did, it's just something simple. I had some extra chain. I took some, this was a quarter inch chain. I looped it inside, and then I took I think it was a 5/8 inch lag eye bolt, and I put the eye bolt in, drilled it, screwed it into the wall, connected it with a carabiner with the chain. So down at the bottom, there you go. There's your angle. So I've got it in 4 places, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, and it's been perfect. Haven't had any issues with it at all. The only other thing that I did find was, because there's a small slope, there was the whole rack was just a hair uneven, but I was able to get some quarter inch boards, cut them up, and put the rack underneath that, and it's been level. So it's been perfect. Haven't had any issues. So been very happy with that. Over to kind of the corner here. So this is my Pro Maxima. This is a combo leg curl leg extension. I've had this for, probably a little over a year, I think, if not longer by now. A great piece, really like it. 225-pound stack. It does everything I need it to do. This was a pretty good find. So if you can find those combos, man, take advantage of them, because you will love it in the end. You'll be able to get a lot done with it. Over to the beast, this beast of a leg press. So I love this leg press. It's awesome. This is the York 35-degree strength series leg press. So it's just an absolute monster. I will also say it's a royal pain. It is. It's just a pain in the ass to put together, mainly because of these posts here. Trying to connect these posts to this frame is not the easiest. It is quite difficult, but once you get it, the rest is actually pretty easy. This sucker, this foot plate, man, this got to weigh over 100 pounds at least. I don't know how, but somehow I was able to assemble it by myself. I would not recommend that. You should probably find a friend, unless you're a psycho and you just are by yourself all the time. So all the plates that I have are York. These are awesome, these York Legacy plates here. So I've got a couple of I think I have 4 total of these 100-pound plates, which they're just so cool. So much history behind the York company as a whole. And I'm just thrilled to be able to be a partner with them as well. So that is something that we sell on the Bare Steel Equipment page. We partnered with them to do things from bands to the plates to you can actually buy this same leg press through us as well. These plates here, they look a little bit different. These are the deep dish plates. So 45, 35, and 25s they have available. And I've got a 25 tucked in the corner there, so you can see that. But everything else that I have, aside from some of those legacy plates, are, or excuse me, from the deep dish, everything else is legacy. So down here, again, more legacy plates, which I think they just look clean. So I've enjoyed them a lot, haven't had any issues. So moving over to a few more items, the band pegs. The band pegs have been great. The power pegs that we call them. So they go right in. See if I can get a good angle on this here. So when you put them in, they snap on, and they're not going anywhere. So this one's got a little bit of flash rust. This is what happened when I moved from the basement right to the gym in here, and I didn't have any protection. So when that moved in, they got some flash rust right away. I do have a pair that I did with hard chrome, and you can see, like, so here's the hard chrome ones here. Whoa. Here's the hard chrome. Like, again, they look, you know, really clean, no issues. Something that if you're worried about rust, if you're worried about the rust, you can't go wrong with the hard chrome. I'll say that. So the Cerakote, what I have here as well, I have, so these are the power pegs, but these are knurled, and that's something else that we can do as a service if you want to knurl. And I love using the knurled handles. So what I will do with the knurled handles, to give you an example, is I use them for a variety of exercises. Most notably, I use them for Hatfield squats. So I'll hold on to those handles, and with them, you know, you can see we've got the same aggressive knurling on these as we do everything else. So really like them, never had an issue. The bench was done by my friend Jake Purdy over at Stray Dog Strength. They did a great job on the bench. It's probably one of the most heavy-duty benches I've ever used. If you're looking for something like that, I would definitely recommend reaching out to them. You know, within that, they did, you can see down there, they did the custom skull for me, which just turned out fabulous. I was really impressed by that. So can't say enough good things about what they do as well, and it was a nice company collaboration. So the other thing, too, I must say, I got to give a shout out to my man, Matt Pendergraph. He convinced me to go ahead and paint the walls, and I'm glad that I did. That was another thing as well prior to setting everything up, was I painted the walls, and I trimmed there was a wood base there, you can see. I trimmed that all in black, and it really came out really nicely. I was really happy with it. So two more things I would say in terms of the gym, in terms of the gym tour, I suppose, is if you don't have these, I'd recommend you get them. Number one would be, I don't know if you might be able to hear it running or not, is a dehumidifier. And that can go a long way. Now, I was lucky enough, and everyone's house is going to be a little bit different, but the way our house was set up, it worked out perfectly. So what we did is, I've got a drain here, so that drain runs, and I was able to drill in between the spigots. That hole runs through the basement. On top of the there's just a small, I guess you could call it an opening in between the I guess the baseboards, if you will, not into the baseboards, but between the floor and the wall, I guess. Ran that through, and that goes right down into the sump pump. So I'm able to keep this thing running all the time. Not everyone's going to be able to do that, but I will say, if you're looking to keep the humidity out of your gym, if you have the ability to get a dehumidifier, do it. One thing that I have done, I made the mistake of buying a smaller dehumidifier based off of the square footage recommendations. That didn't work. The thing kept freezing over. So I ended up buying one for like a large, I think this is 4,500 square feet capacity. So this sucker's big, and it runs more or less all the time. Can't say enough good things about it. It's been a real trooper, a real champ. So I would look at that if you're able to. The last thing, and these are all investments, and I understand that not everyone's going to be able to do this, but if you can, I would look at it. There's the heater. So I've got a heater for the winter time. Ohio winters are not that pleasant. I found a local company that can run the gas line. And so we ran the gas line. From there, I've got the thermostat hooked up, and what they do is, so they ran the vent up into the ceiling, and it goes outside, and we vent outside off of this wall here, which is nice. So what's really cool too is set up an Ecobee. Right now it's a nice 72 degrees in here, considering October. That's not too bad. So I've got it set at 55 degrees at the moment. So if it gets under 55, it'll start to kick on. And then there's the wiring. And then it's connected. There's the gas line right there, connects to the gas line, and then goes in through the house on the other side. So really have enjoyed using that, and it's going to come in real handy in the wintertime. So, but that is pretty much the setup. It's been a long time coming, and I actually ended up enjoying it way more. I like this setup more. Actually, believe it or not, I like this setup more than I did in the basement. So I'm happy to answer any questions. And if I can provide any additional inspiration to your gym, or do anything to help just the community in general, whether you're supporting my regular channel, supporting Bare Steel Equipment, or just saying thanks, I appreciate everybody in the community. Everyone's been very supportive and very supportive of my company. It's not an easy thing to do, but I appreciate all the support. So, like I said, appreciate it. Thanks again, and we'll be in touch again soon.